We're about to start the next talk, and it's by Paulo Cereda, The Island of TeX. And Paulo also deserves very little introduction. You know, it's a very well-known chap on going from Stack Exchange to all other aspects of the tech community. And he's best known for as the author of the package Arara, which is godsend in terms of automation of tech processing. And with that, please welcome Paulo Cereda.
Thank you. Hello, I am Paulo. It is a privilege and a great honor to be here with you all. Due to unfortunate circumstances, the annual Tech Users Group conference had to be moved to an online format. In Brazil, the coronavirus scenario is daunting. Numbers are growing by the hour. People we know and love are suffering. I live in the countryside area of São Paulo, and there are thousands and thousands of cases surrounding my small village. For now, we need to keep social distancing and protect ourselves and everyone around us. For many, this is your first Tech User Group conference, so welcome. In this particular talk, I want to invite you, tech newbie, to visit our island, the Island of TeX. I want you to prepare a special talk, something different, light-hearted, kind. Then I had a wacky idea, or it wouldn't be me. In March the 20th, Nintendo, a Japanese company headquartered in Kyoto, released a life simulation video game for the Nintendo Switch named Animal Crossing: New Horizons. In this game, you become a character who moves to a deserted island. You can explore the island in a non-linear fashion, gathering and crafting items, catching insects and fish, and most of all, developing the island into a community of anthropomorphic animals. In some aspects, the game concept and the reasons for us to come up with the Island of TeX are very, very similar. We want to offer a warm, welcoming place to community-based tech projects. It is about developing the island into a community of friends who are passionate about enhancing your typesetting adventure. So the key to reading the Island of TeX is the same of Animal Crossing: New Horizons. You need to embark on a new adventure. I kindly ask my friends, especially the experts, to be patient with me. I want to offer a view on why our island is special. That means we need to let ourselves be less grown-ups again and have fun. Special thanks to Takuto Asakura, who convinced me to play the game. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. I want to invite you to discover what Animal Crossing: New Horizons is. Then I'll give you a free boarding pass from Dodo Airlines so you can visit the Island of TeX. Well, fasten your seatbelts and enjoy!
For those who are unfamiliar with the gaming universe, Animal Crossing: New Horizons is a 2020 life simulation video game developed and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo Switch. It is the fifth main series title in the Animal Crossing series. The title was released in all regions on March 20, 2020, one day before my trip to Germany that unfortunately did not happen. In New Horizons, the player becomes a character who moves to a deserted island after purchasing a package from Tom Nook, a Tanuki character who has appeared in every entry in the Animal Crossing series. Taking place in real time, the player can explore the island in a non-linear fashion, gathering and crafting items, catching insects and fish, and developing the island into a community of anthropomorphic animals. Gameplay is open-ended. Players have no defined objectives, but are instead encouraged to spend their time in the village performing any number of activities, which include collecting items, planting plants or other items, and socializing with the village's residents. Animal Crossing games are played in real time, utilizing the video game's console internal clock and calendar. Thus, passage of time in the game world reflects that in reality, as well as the current season and time of day. Some in-game events, such as holidays or the growth of a tree, occur at certain times or require some duration of time to have passed. Collecting items is a major facet. The player can explore the village and gather objects, including fruits from trees, seashells, and discarded items. Nearly all objects can be sold for bells, the in-game currency. Players collect objects to obtain more bells, which can then be used to buy furniture and clothing, purchase home expansions, invest in stocks, and play games. A number of specialized tools are available for other activities, such as fishing and insect collecting. Special items, such as fossils and paintings, may be donated to the village museum. The player can choose to socialize with other animal residents by engaging in conversation, sending and receiving letters, bartering, or playing hide and seek. Residents may move in or out of the village depending on the player's actions. Animal Crossing is the video game equivalent of a relaxing getaway. You can join a Sakura-san and myself in playing the game, even visiting our islands. In many ways, we will be continuing our journey alongside yours, should you choose to take the plunge. Back to our talk, a group of friends decided to create an organization as a means to systematize and concentrate our efforts in developing the tech ecosystem. We have the Island of TeX, a collaborative endeavor to provide a home to community-based open-source tech-related projects. You might wonder, what does Animal Crossing: New Horizons, a life simulation video game, has to do with the Island of TeX? Both have a lot in common, actually. For starters, both offer an exciting digital adventure, Animal Crossing as a life simulation video game, and the Island of TeX as an organization for the development of the tech ecosystem. Both share the idea of an island as your home, a place for you to stay as a member and develop it into a friendly community. You are also invited to visit and explore both islands in a non-linear fashion, gathering resources, engaging in conversation, and having legitimate fun. You can also contribute to the community development through a series of activities such as bug hunting. And at last but not least, both feature anthropomorphic animals such as ducks, especially those wearing blue caps and holding cricket bats. So far, the island holds 4 main groups of projects: Docker images, programming libraries, assorted tools, and tech editors. We plan more groups for the near future. The first group to be contemplated refers to Docker images. Docker is an open platform for developing, shipping, and running applications, enabling a clear decoupling of applications from infrastructure. Docker provides the ability to package and run an application in a loosely isolated environment called a container. The isolation and security allow you to run many containers simultaneously on a given host. Containers are lightweight because they do not need the extra load of a hypervisor, but run directly within the host's machine's kernel. Today, many tech users rely on version control to have a steady backup of their document sources. While sources are handled smoothly by version control systems, binary files like PDF are not. To prevent bloating the repository, it is very useful to have an alternative to pushing a compile result and still have it available on request. That is where continuous integration steps in. Basically, this requires the user to add a text file to your repository specifying how the continuous integration service should handle the document. Then, any sort of document, regardless of its complexity, can be automatically built, saved as an artifact, and made available for download. A Docker image itself is similar to a snapshot of a lightweight virtual machine. When running an image, then it is called a container, broadly speaking. It shares the same kernel as the host system, but provides a complete and independent infrastructure of operating system and software packages, as well as configuration files and environment variables. The island provides Docker images for TechLive repositories. It is important to note that we also provide the necessary tooling to execute common helper tools. We have 2 groups: Historic, which, as the name implies, contains releases from 2014 on, and Latest, which refers to the current stable release, plus all updates available as weekly snapshots. For every TechLive release, from historic to latest, we provide 4 flavors: binaries only, binaries and documentation, binaries and sources, and the full pack: binaries, sources, and documentation. When in doubt, choose binaries only, and only pull the larger images if you have to. Keep in mind that sources and especially documentation files do add a significant payload. If you need an image for another TechLive, feel free to file a feature request. We might consider adding other distributions if there is a user base. The island also provides Docker images for the context distribution, full installation with all modules. It also provides the necessary tooling to execute common helper tools. We have three groups: MK4 Current, updated monthly, MK4 Beta, and LMTX, updated weekly. If you need a different image for context as well, feel free to file a feature request. The Island currently provides three libraries: a SyncTEX parser, a TechDoc API, and a TechLog analyzer. I will mention some details of each one of them. SyncTEX is a synchronization technology supported by all major engines. It maps the input to boxes and point positions in the output. Therefore, it can be used to forward and backward synchronization, that is, finding the appropriate point in the output PDF for the current input line, or finding the respective input line for the current point in the output. While collecting ideas for other tools, we came to the conclusion that there is no comprehensible structured definition of a SyncTEX file, so we started to implement a parser, partially as an exercise to know the file format and partially to provide some structured representation to the community. It is important to note that we have not looked at the official SyncTEX parser while implementing this component, and we do not intend to. We solely took the man page and started to look at real-world examples. Hence, this is neither official nor guaranteed to parse all SyncTEX files. That said, you are very welcome to open issues and merge requests, contributing test cases where this fails. This is the basic structure of a SyncTEX file object, which contains a preamble, a content, a postamble, and a postscriptum. Each section has its own attributes. Parsing a SyncTEX file is very straightforward. A simple call to the parse method of the SyncTEX parser class is sufficient to return a proper SyncTEX object, as seen in the previous slide. Then all SyncTEX elements, preamble, boxes, tags, byte ranges, coordinates, offsets, units, and so forth are directly available for use. The next library in the island is an API for the TechDoc command line interface. Hence, it is only one layer of abstraction. However, we currently require the presence of TechDoc on the target machine. The API provides two classes: the entry class, which represents an entry in TechDoc's list of results, and the TechDoc class, presented here, which is a singleton, providing an interface to the actions of the command line utility. The most important methods and attributes of TechDoc are: is available to check whether TechDoc is in the system path, version, to get the version string of the TechDoc installation, get entries, to get a list containing all entries from the result set of a TechDoc query given the provided keyword. And finally, view, to view the resource specified by an entry. It returns a boolean whether the process exited successfully. Getting a list of entries for a package is very straightforward. For example, let us get the documentation for the long table package because, of course, long table is awesome. A simple call to the getEntries method of the TechDoc class is sufficient to return a list of entries. Each entry contains the full path to the documentation, the score, and the description. The third library in the island is a TechLog file analyzer, abstracting typical log entries into high-level structures. However, this project is still under development and we have not provided any public releases so far. We are working on it, so stay tuned for updates. The third group in the island refers to tech-related tools. We currently hold 4 projects: TechPrinter, TechPlate, CheckSites, and Arara. I will mention some details and noteworthy features of each one of them. TechPrinter is an application designed for the purpose of printing threads from the tech community at Stack Exchange. It can print threads to the following formats: PDF and TeX. The PDF output is provided by the iText library. It is a quick option if you do not intend to customize the output. If the thread has images, they are embedded in the final result. The TeX option is recommended if you want to format the code the way you like. It basically uses the article document class, the listings package, and a pretty straightforward approach. If the thread has images, they are downloaded to the current directory and correctly referenced in the document. Of course, you need to compile it. TechPrinter ships as a standalone jar file with dependencies. There's no need to install it, simply download the jar file from the project repository and execute it. Keep in mind that it needs the Java virtual machine installed. The next project in the island is TechPlate, a tool for creating document structures based on templates. The application name is a wordplay on tech and template, so the purpose seems quite clear. We want to provide an easy and straightforward framework for reducing the typical code boilerplate when writing tech documents. Also note that one can easily extrapolate the use beyond articles and theses. The application is powerful enough to generate any text-based structure given that a corresponding template exists. TechPlate can also be used for package writers in generating automated tests. The tool is already available in your favorite tech distribution. The third project in the island is checksites, a Lua script written for the purpose of detecting unused or undefined references from both auxiliary or bibliography files. We use the term unused reference to refer to the reference present in the bibliography file but not cited in the TeX file. The term undefined reference is exactly the opposite, that is, the item cited in the TeX file but not present in the bibliography file. The script supports two backends, bibtec and bibber, and can detect files from your TeX tree. Finally, the fourth project in the island is Arara, the cool TeX automation tool. This is probably our most well-known and widespread project, as well as the oldest one. We are close to reaching 300 stars on our GitHub mirror, which seems like a notable achievement for a tech-related project. Arara is a tech automation tool based on rules and directives. It gives you a way to enhance your tech experience. The tool is an effort to provide a concise way to automate the daily tech workflow for users and also package writers. Users might write their own rules when the provided ones do not suffice. Arara is currently in version 5.1 and some noteworthy features include support for working directory. Users may now specify their working directory by specifying a command line option, so commands will run from a different directory than the directory Arara launched in. This is especially useful when calling a TeX engine as they resolve files against the working directory. Support for processing multiple files. Arara is able to compile multiple files at once by providing multiple files as arguments. Please note that they should reside in the same working directory. Every other kind of compilation of multiple files is restricted by the mechanisms of the running programs. Updated rule pack. Arara features more than 60 rules ready for use, including TeX engines with support for both stable and development branches, and assorted tools for graphics, bibliography, indexing, cleaning, and conversion between file formats. A typical user might rely just on this pack without the need of writing a custom rule. Version 5.1 of Arara is already available in TeX Live 2020. Simply execute Arara in your terminal and have fun. Our friends from Citan might be pleased to know that the island has an interesting workflow for Arara. When a new version is ready to be released, we simply tag it and GitLab will build a Citan release. Our build script compiles and packages the application binary, typesets the documentation using our Docker images, assembles the Citan tree as well as the TDS1, and provides a full Citan zip file artifact ready for download. Then we simply send this file to our friends at Citan. We are discussing some new features and development paths for the next major version of Arara. For starters, we plan to split our tool into an API, a core implementation that is a library, and the implementation of the executable that is the command line interface. Projects relying on code in the Arara jar distributions have to be updated, which might be a potentially breaking change. Languages have to be passed as IETF BCP47 codes. The old system has been removed. Localization is provided by classes as library instead of property files in Arara's resources. We want to decouple localization from the core implementation and make it easy for users to contribute with their own messages. The log file may now be specified as path anywhere on the file system. This behavior, however, may be altered for a future safe mode. The method signatures of load object and load class have been altered to return a pair of loading status and object instead of a pair of integer and object, so now users can access the status values as proper enumeration. We are working on a Kotlin DSL to gradually supersede the YAML-based rule format. The new format aims at being significantly more expressive, easier to write and debug, and less error-prone. Elements marked as deprecated in version 5 were effectively removed, such as the Arara shorthand notation. This is a breaking change. We are working on a project configuration file format based on a Kotlin DSL as a means to provide resource dependency management, enhanced automation, and several additional features. As a consequence, the preamble command line option and corresponding configuration map entry is removed. This is a breaking change as well. You can follow the progress of version 6 of Arara in our repository under the development branch. You can also join our Gitter chat room to learn more about our plans for this major milestone. The fourth and last group in the island refers to tech editors. We currently hold one project, which is an application named Artemis. Artemis aims at being an opinionated, powerful tech editor designed for all users, especially for package writers and kernel developers. We want to provide an elaborated, immersive user experience when writing tech code, with a comprehensive and extensive set of features and actions. This project is still under development, and we have not provided any public releases so far. We are working on it, so stay tuned for updates. The Island of TeX is hosted at GitLab. Some projects originally hosted at GitHub, such as Arara and Check sites, are now simply mirrored, so the development is consolidated under our organization. Issues and merge requests are welcome. This is the team working in the Island of TeX. We are all residents in this warm and welcoming community for tech-related projects. I want to thank my good friend Ben Frank for making this awesome endeavor happen. Ben worked on porting Arara from Java to Kotlin and built the island infrastructure. Thank you very much, my friend. This is a humble overview of the Island of TeX. The tech ecosystem is very challenging yet exciting. We have plans to migrate more tools to the organization in an organic way. At the moment, we have a new project being discussed with the core team. You can learn more about us from our official GitLab repository, my personal Twitter account, Tugboat articles, and electronic mail. We are also active in tech-related mailing lists, as well as in the tech community at the Tech Exchange, especially the chat room, so drop us a line. You are also more than welcome to try Animal Crossing and develop your island into a nice community of anthropomorphic animals. In times like this, we need to keep our hopes up for a better future. Thank you very much for your attention and patience. I hope to see you all pretty soon. I leave you with a lovely comic strip from Hector Hansberg. Stay safe! Cheerio!
What a great lecture, Paulo. Many thanks. You have a question by Aman on the question tab. Want to look at it?
Okay, I see. The idea to have a Docker image is to, first of all, to offer some straightforward way for projects like the ones hosted in GitHub or GitLab to handle binary files like PDF, such that you can have like compiled versions of your manuals, your articles, papers, in such a automated way. That's the main idea. Of course, I'm not sure if it's good idea to have it run locally in your machine. Although in the example in the video, I did that. It takes some time for the Docker environment to download the image, but once it's there, you have like a sandbox infrastructure. So, for example, I believe it's good for these online learning systems like Learn LaTeX or Overleaf, in which you can run PDF or ZLaTeX or Lua LaTeX in a sandbox environment, such you can run shellscape, and it won't cause harm to your system, because once it's done, the lightweight container is gone. So I do believe it's quite good, because you don't have to work on security in that way. And regarding the article, we plan to release a tutorial, a guide to instruct people to use our Docker images, even locally and also on servers. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me see if there are some other questions. I think. So yes, there are some questions on the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see them? You want me to read them?
Yes. Just taking a look here. Peter, it's nice to know you're working on a SyncTEX parser too. I'll take a look at your project right after the meeting, and I do believe we can start like talking about how both projects can benefit from each other. So it's nice. That's the nicest thing about the open source initiatives we have, that we are not like rivals, as people sometimes in the commercial area like to put. We simply can benefit from each other's efforts. So I will check it out right after the meeting. You can I probably can contact you through mail or even an issue in GitHub. So thank you. Let's see.
And further,
Peter, we are still working on this editor. We don't have much done right now, but we are love to hear your ideas. We can share ideas. I can put you in contact with the development team. It's not myself. There's Ben and Brent and Nikki and everybody else. So we can talk about this. Thank you very much for the opportunity for this. Oh, I don't know where Artemis will be released, because that's the other point about open source, because we work on our own time. So we need like a real life, to put it lightly. So it's like as we say in Portuguese, is an ant's work. Don't know the term in English, Paulo. You can help me. Trabalho de formiguinha. as we say it. So I do believe soon. Let's see if till the end we can release it. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. I forgot to read the questions. Let me tell you. Aman asked me about what's the benefit of a Docker, and that's the first question. It was Peter talking about his own SyncTEX project. So I could exchange information about both projects. Peter Flynn talked about a tool for class and package writers, like we can share ideas with our editor, and we can discuss this. And the last question was about the prediction when the editor will be released. That's it. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paulo.